The Norton Anthology of Poetry, 6th edition, Margaret Ferguson, Tim Kendall, Mary Jo Salter. Page 1173, Emily Dickinson, 1830 to 1886. I never lost as much but twice, and that was in the sod. Twice have I stood a beggar before the door of God. Angels twice descending reimbursed my store. Burglar, banker, father, I am poor once more. Some things that fly there be, birds, ours, the bumblebee. Of these no elegy. Some things that stay there be, grief, hills, eternity. Nor this behoveth me. There that resting rise, can I expound the skies, how still the riddle lies. Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. To comprehend a nectar requires a sorest need. Not one of all the purple host who took the flag today can tell the definition so clear of victory. As he defeated dying on those forbidden ear, the distant strains of triumph burst agonized and clear. 124, first version. Safe in the alabaster chambers, untouched by morning and untouched by noon, sleep the meek members of the resurrection. Rafter of satin and roof of stone, light laughs the breeze in her castle above them. Babbles the bee in a stolid ear, pipe the sweet birds an ignorant cadence. Ah, what sagacity perished here. 124, second version. Safe in the alabaster chambers, untouched by morning and untouched by noon, sleep the meek members of the resurrection, rafter of satin and roof of stone. Grand go the years in the crescent above them. Worlds scoop their aces, and firmaments row. Diadems drop, and dogs surrender, soundless as dots on a disk of snow. A little east of Jordan, evangelist record, a gymnast and an angel did wrestle long and hard, till morning touching mountain and Jacob, waxing strong. The angel begged permission to breakfast to return. Not so said, cunning Jacob, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me, stranger, the which acceded to. Light swung the silver fleeces, pineal hills beyond, and the bewildered gymnast found he had worsted God. Faith is a fine invention for gentlemen who see, but microscopes are prudent in an emergency. A clock stopped, not the mantles, Geneva's farthest skill. Can't put the puppet bowing that just now dangled still. An awe came in the trinket, the figures hunched with pain, then quivered out the decimals into degreeless noon. It will not stir for doctors, this pendulum of snow. The shopman importunes it while cool, concernless, no. Nods that from the gilded pointers, nods from the second slim, decades of arrogance between the dial life and him. I'm nobody, who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's the pair of us, don't tell they'd advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody, how public like a frog. To tell one's names at the livelong June. To an admiring bog. Wild nights, where I with thee. Wild nights should be our luxury. Futile the winds to a heart in port, done with compass, done with the chart. Rowing in Eden, ah, the sea. Might I but moor tonight in thee. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could be abashed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. There's a certain slant of light, winter afternoons, that oppresses like the heft of cathedral tunes. Heavenly hurt it gives us, we can find no scar, but the internal difference where the meanings are. None may teach it any, 'tis the seal despair, and imperial affliction sent us of the air. When it comes, the landscape listens, shadows hold the breath. When it goes, 'tis like the distance on the look of death. I like a look of agony because I know it's true. Men do not sham convulsion nor stimulate a throe. The eyes glaze once, and that is death, impossible to feign. The beads upon the forehead, by homely anguish strung. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak my soul across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heaven were a bell, and being but an ear, and silence, some strange race wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down, and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then. I would not paint a picture, I'd rather be the one. Its bright impossibility to dwell delicious on, and wonder how the fingers feel, whose rare celestial stir evokes so sweet a torment, such sumptuous despair. I would not talk like cornets, I'd rather be the one, raised softly to the ceilings, and out and easy on, through villages of ether, myself endued balloon, but by but a lip of metal, the plier to my pontoon. Nor would I be a poet, its finer own the ear, enamored, impotent content, the license to revere. A privilege so awful, what would the dower be, had I the art to stun myself with bolts of melody? A bird came down the walk he did not know I saw. He bit an angle worm in halves and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean to silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of noon leap plashless as they swim. After great pain, a formal feeling comes, the nerves sit ceremonious, like tombs, the stiff heart questions, was it he that bore, and yesterday or centuries before? The feet mechanical go round a wooden way, or ground, or air, or aught. Regardless grown, accords contentment like a stone. This is the hour of lead, of lead, remembered if outlived, as Freezing persons recollect the snow. First chill, then stupor, then letting go. I like to see it lap the miles and lick the valleys up, and stoop to feed itself at tanks, and then prodigious step around a pile of mountains and superculous pier in shanties by the sides of roads, and then a quarry pair. To fit its sides and crawl between, complaining all the while in horrid hooting stanza, then chase itself downhill, and neigh like Bonerges, then prompter than a star, stop docile and impotent at its own stable door. The soul selects its own society, then shuts the door to her divine majority. Present no more. Unmoved, she notes the chariots pausing at her low gate. Unmoved and emperor by kneeling upon her mat. I've known her from an ample nation. Choose one, then close the valves of her attention like stone. Mine by the right of white election, mine by the royal seal, mine by the sign in the scarlet prison bars cannot conceal. Mine here in vision and in veto, mine by the grave's repeal, titled confirmed, delirious charter, mine long as ages steel. They shut me up in prose, as when a little girl they put me in the closet, because they liked me still could themselves have prepped and seen my brain round. They might as wise have lodged a bird for treason in the pound. Himself has but to will, and easy as a star. Look down upon captivity and laugh, no more have I. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun, or rather he passed us. The dews drew, quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet, my only tool. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. I reckon when I count at all, first poets, then the sun, then summer, then the heaven of God, and then the list is done. But looking back, the first so seems to comprehend the whole, the others look a needless show. So I write poets all. Their summer lasts a solid year, they can afford a sun. The East would deem extravagant, and it further heaven be beautiful as they prone. For those who worship them, it is too difficult to a grace to justify the dream. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain, and then those little endinines that deaden suffering, and then to go to sleep, and then, if it should be the will of its inquisitor, the privilege to die. I heard a fly buzz when I died. The stillness in the room was like the stillness in the air between the heaves of storm. The eyes around had wrung them dry, and breaths were gathering firm. For the last onest, when the king be witnessed in the room, I willed my keepsake signed away, what portion of me be assignable, and then it was the interposed a fly, with blue uncertain stumbling buzz between the light and me, and then the windows failed, and then I could not see. Much madness is divinest sense to a discerning eye. Much since the starkest madness 'tis the majority in this, as all prevail. Assent, and you are sane. Demur, you're straightway dangerous, and handled with a chain. On a calmer self, how ample to rely in tumult or extremity, how good the certainty that lever cannot pry, and wedge cannot divide, conviction that grantic base, though none be on our side, suffice us for a crowd ourself, and rectitude and that assembly not far off, from the furthest spirit God. My life had stood a loaded gun in corners till a day. The owner passed, identified, and carried me away. And now we roam in sovereign woods, and now we hunt the doe. And every time I speak for him, the mountains straight reply. And do I smile such cordial light upon the valley glow? It is a Vesuvian face, had let its pleasure though. And when at night our good day done, I guard my master's head, 'tis better than the eider's duck's deep pillow to have shared. To foe his face, I am deadly foe. None stir the second time on whom I lay a yellow eye or an emphatic thumb. Though I then, he may longer live, he longer must than I, for I have but the power to kill without the power to die. Remorse's memory awake, her parties all astir, a presence of departed acts at window and at door. Its past set down before the soul and lighted with a match. Perusal to facilitate and help belief to stretch. Remorse is cureless, the disease not even God can heal. For 'tis his institution and the adequate of hell. Renunciation is a piercing virtue, the letting go. A presence for an expectation, not now the putting out of eyes. Just sunrise, less day, day's great progenitor, out be renunciation is the choosing against itself to justify unto itself, when larger function make that appear, smaller that covered vision here. Publication, 'tis the auction of the mind of man. Poverty be justifying for so foul a thing. Possibly, but we would rather from our garret go, white unto the Creator, than invest our snow. Thought belonged to him who gave it, then to him who bear its corporal illustration. Sell the royal air in the parcel, be the merchant of the heavenly grace, but reduce no human spirit to disgrace of price. Further in summer than the birds, pathetic from the grass, a minor nation celebrates its unobtrusive mass. No ordinance be seen, so gradual the grace, a gentle custom it becomes, enlarging loneliness. Antiquities felt at noon, when August burning low, arise the spectral canticle, repose to typify. Remit as yet no grace, no furrow on the glow, but a druidic difference enhances nature now. Split the lark and you'll find the music, bulb after bulb, and silver rolled, scantily dealt to the summer morning, saved for your ear when lutes be old. Lose the flood, you shall find its patent, gush after gush reserved for you. Scarlet experiment, skeptic Thomas, now do you doubt that your bird was true? As imperceptibly, as grief, the summer lapsed away to imperceptible at last, to seem like perfidy. a quaintness distilled as twilight long begun, or nature spending with herself sequestered afternoon. The dusk drew earlier in, the morning foreign shone, a courteous yet harrowing grace, as guest that would be gone. And thus without a wing, or service of a keel, our summer made her light escape into the beautiful. A narrow fellow in the grass occasionally rides. You may have met him, did you not? His notice instance is excuse me. The grass divides as with a comb, a spotted shaft is seen, and then it closes at your feet and opens further on. He likes a boggy acre, a floor to cool for corn, but when a boy on barefoot, I more than once at noon have passed a thought of whiplash braiding in the sun. When stooping to secure it, it wrinkled and was gone. Several of nature's people I know, and they know me. I feel for them a transport of cordiality, but never met his fellow attended or alone, without a tighter breathing and zero at the bone. The bustle in a house the morning after death is solemnest of industries enacted upon earth, the sweeping up the heart and putting love away. We shall not want to use again until eternity. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies, too bright for our infirm delight. The truth's superb surprise, as lightning to the children eased. With explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. A rout of evanescence with a revolving wheel, a resonance of emerald, a rush of cochineal, and every blossom on the bush adjust its tumbled head. The mail from Tunis, probably an easy morning's ride. The Bible is an antique volume written by fated men at the suggestion of holy scepters. Subjects Bethlehem, Eden, the ancient homestead, Satan, the brigadier, Judas, the great defaulter, David, the troubadour, sin, a distinguished precipice. Others must resist. Boys that believe are the very lonesome. Other boys are lost. Had but the tale of a warbling teller, all the boys would come. Orpheus' sermon captivated, it did not condemn. My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveil a third event to me. So huge, so hopeless to conceive, as with that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven and all we need of hell. Fame is a bee. It has a song. It has a sting. Ah, too, it has a wing. And that is the end of Emily Dickinson. Thank you.